Here's another update video. I shut off all power in the house except to my room at the breaker box, so we know that there's no form of induction going on. We're definitely extracting the energy from the ground. The only room in the house with power is my room at the moment. So transmitter's powered on. Everything else is a receiver. Transmitter off, lights go off. Transmitter on, lights come on. Off, on. Now I will unplug my ground and bring my light into the kitchen. Another part of the house that has absolutely no power. I shut off all power. No power. And I'll do a voltmeter reading test and show you that too. So I'll plug this into the ground. I'll connect my ground. I'll connect the other end. What the heck? I'll connect the other end to the roof up here. And we still have ignition. And that's with power off to the house, except for my room. There we go, look at that. You get it just right, it'll get very bright. So the vent is actually coming off the metal. It's this metal that it likes. There we go. There we go. That's lit. And I'll confirm that the house has no power, except for my room, because I shut it off at the breaker box. Transmitter on. Transmitter off. Transmitter is off. Light is now off. As you can see, my coffee maker won't turn on. That light usually glows red. My microwave is off. I shut off all power to the house except for my room at the breaker box. I'll do a voltage meter reading. So we'll do a reading right here. Just jam the probes in here. We have no power. All power to the house is off except for my room. That's jammed in there nice and good. Light is out because the transmitter's off. So this, I'm completely confirming that there is no form of energy harvesting taking place from the power lines when they're turned on. All this energy is coming straight from my transmitter when it's on. I'm able to extract the energy from the ground. And people want to know my power draw for the transmitter. It's usually under 30 watts. That's my power consumption. 25, 26 watts. Always under 30 watts. I run it off a DC supply now, anywhere from 0 to 60 volts DC at less than 1.5 amps. I've got much bigger transistors coming in soon that are going to be able to beef this bad boy up way bigger. So, this orange bulb is being run by a wireless pickup coil that just sits close by to the transmitter. I can get all these fluorescents to light too. Like I said, I had a breakthrough. I'm very grateful. That's lit down there. Interesting to note that this is only dimly lit. Oop, nope, it's coming back online. There we go. Let's show you another interesting effect. Plasma that appears in the bulb. That's happening. That's lit. Those are still lit. And we have plasma. It actually burns my hand doing that. So basically what I'm proving is my system can extract energy out of the ground with an antenna. And this elevated plate of metal on my stove is acting as an antenna. And wow, that's really rusty up there. And I'll show that all power to my house is turned off, except for my room. It's all off except for my room. See, it's going that way, everything else is off. I'll go back upstairs. My lights aren't working because everything's off except for my room. This was just a confirmation test to completely rule out if the power was being harvested from the power lines somehow. And I completely ruled that out. There is no power harvesting from the power lines. I'm sucking power out of the ground when my transmitter's on. And that bulb is very bright. I mean, the fact that I'm using less than 30 watts to create all this electrical activity and suck power out of the ground, like, it's amazing. And when I'm out of range of the transmitter, like the close range, and I don't detune it, I can extract all the power I want out of the ground. Like, I could have as many as those as I want, sucking power out of the ground. There's the other one. It's literally just a tube. There's nothing fancy about it. I found out you don't even need the coil anymore. You can just use antenna diodes. And you can see it'll get brighter or dimmer based on me tuning the inductance of it. And then it half bad on brightness. So basically the potential for your energy exists from a separate ground connection and an elevated antenna. And your ground connection is hot and the antenna is the virtual ground. There's that light. I'll move it somewhere further. This is more testing with all power off to the house except for my room. I think I had luck over here too. Oh, and some of the outlets in my house are not grounded. I figured that out when this wouldn't light. So, here's the light. If I connect it to a separate metal body now, or an elevated body, it should light if I connect it to an elevated metal body. Ooh, very dimly lit. I need a very big elevated metal body for it to go to full intensity. And I got this to work. I received my signal all the way in my work shed that's like 500 feet away. You can just barely see the work shed way over there behind the bushes. Haven't been in my work shed in a while. Just been busy working almost 50 hours a week. There's my puppy. How you doing, buddy? Oh, he's a good boy. How you doing? There's my cat. I'll plug this in. See if we get this guy a light again. Just have to find an elevated metal body for him to connect to. And nothing yet. Dimly lit, maybe? No. Nope. Ooh, yeah, I saw something. Very dim. And that's just due to me not having an elevated metal ground, an elevated metal plate to connect to. But I'll show you it working in my bathroom, which is about 30 feet from my room. I have no light in here, it's hard to see. So ground, and then connected to the ground of my water pipe. There we go. It's lit. Connected to my faucet. I'll shut the transmitter off. My transmitter consumes less than 30 watts of power. I'm pumping that energy into the ground in a shockwave fashion. It's DC pulsed energy. Transmitter is off. Light is off. Completely dead. Not ignited. Not even a faint glow. I'll turn the transmitter back on. Transmitter back on. Everything comes back on. We again have power. Woohoo! So this video completely confirms the power I'm receiving is coming straight out of the ground. It is not coming from any form of induction from the power lines, because all power to my house was off at the breaker box except for my room. And you guys were more interested in this article. It's called, and I actually favorited it this time and saved it. It's The Theory of Wireless Power and Its Propagation by Eric Dollard. It basically states in a Tesla transmitter, you're transmitting DC or pulsed shockwave energy into the earth. It's just pulsed DC. And this article helped me a lot. Basically, your transmitter is acting as a piston that's pumping the earth. This article cleared a lot of things up. And in theory, there's no range limit with the Tesla system. The power propagates almost instantly. Probably faster than the speed of light. I'm also a big fan of Ken Wheeler's work. He helped me a lot too with some of this, just his theories. Because the speed of light is variable depending on the medium it's traveling through. And that can easily be proven because light speeds up or slows down based on having it travel through different types of glass or materials. That's been tested in a lab. The speed of light is the rate of induction through the medium. And when you make the Tesla transmitter, when it makes pulse DC, this is it right here. You're transmitting pulses into the ground of DC. And your virtual ground's your antenna. And it's almost instantaneous form of power transmission. and communication with nearly no energy loss. And you'll actually experience an energy gain in the system if your frequency is correct and matches that of the Earth, which seems to be around 3 megahertz. So that's the way we do radio, the Hertzian system, with waveforms and travel time. There's a better way to do it, which would be the Tesla system. This system is limited to the speed of light, which again, the speed of light is the rate of induction in our atmosphere and through the ground. Yeah, I've got a 2-year electrical engineering degree. I always had a feeling this stuff existed, and it was just kept classified from us. This article really cleared it up a lot, along with watching Ken Wheeler's work. I definitely think he's correct on most of the things he says, if not all of them. Basically, the entire world we live in is basically just nothing but misinformation, except for maybe physics and math. We're kept living in a little box, just making money for the people that are higher up. I know I shouldn't be ranting about anything. I made a grand rediscovery from this work. A few things were my own discoveries and modifications, making an old system new with better components and modern parts. But this basically tells you how to engineer it perfectly. And again, it's Theory of Wireless Power by Eric Dollard. And anyone who doesn't know Eric Dollard, he's one of the most brilliant electrical engineers on the planet. Like, he's up there. He could design a power grid for a whole country, so he knows what he's talking about. I'm under the conception that electrons probably don't exist either. They're just a unit of measurement, or a unit of dielectric induction. Like I said, most of our science theory is wrong. The Big Bang never happened. That was already proved by the James Webb Telescope. Big Bang never happened. That theory was made by a Catholic priest who was addicted to drugs. Look it up. Albert Einstein stole most of his work from Henri Poincaré, a physicist. Albert Einstein was smart, though. He was a brilliant mathematician, and that's what he's famous for. But he stole most of his theory of relativity work from Henri Poincaré. Yeah, electrons don't exist. Einstein stole most of his work. Photons probably don't exist. And there was no Big Bang. And most of our modern science is a lie to keep us dumb. And some people might not like that, but it's the truth. You can get a real education is when any building of study teaches you a mental tool set to think for yourself and determine fact from fiction. That'll take about 3 or 4 years. That is a real, true method of education, which we don't have anymore in this country or around most of the world. That form of education is dead. And sorry if I sound mad. I'm not mad. I'm actually very happy. I've just been overworked a lot. But yeah, TMT, Tesla Magnifying Transmitter. And you can read all about it. All this suppressed work. Theory of Wireless Power by Eric Dollard. So, we'll get back to our tests. We suck power out of the ground, and in this case, we're sucking power out of the ground, which is hot, and the coil, which is isolated from ground, is acting as the elevated antenna. That coil is built perfectly identical to the transmitter. So we got a primary of 1 inch long, a secondary of 4 inches, and this top ring, which is a reflector. The power comes up, hits the ring, gets reflected back down into the earth. It's a DC shockwave going boom, 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 like a piston, pumping the earth with power at 3 megahertz. So the power comes up, hits the ring, gets reflected, and goes back down. And the dimensions of that ring are very important. You can play around with it. It shouldn't be any more than 1/4 the size of your primary. That's what it said on that paper on the computer. And it seems to work very effectively. We're propagating wireless power through the ground. with, dare I say, no energy loss, if not an energy gain, because our frequency is 3 megahertz. And that's pretty damn bright for something that's only 6 inches tall. And like I said, I range tested this. I got the signal all the way out at my work shed that's 500 feet away. And to sum things up, all power in my house is off, except for my room. So power to the transmitter off, everything goes out, transmitter on, transmitter off, transmitter on, transmitter off. We will check the light again. No form of ignition at all. I'll re-energize the transmitter. And the transmitter consumes less than 30 watts. .26 watts, 0.4. Little DC power supply to really control it, fine tune it. I also found I can also hook up my signal generator. I'll show you the other interesting thing. So I will shut the DC supply off, and I'll move this pickup coil out of the way. And now I will connect just my signal generator. So this is just my signal generator to the coil. So now I connected just my signal generator to the coil. And this is the part where it gets mental. My signal generator can't put out more than 2 or 3 watts without an amplifier. And when I tune this just right, that will light up. This is how efficient the Tesla transmitter system is. We should get an ignition somewhere. Is anything lighting up? This did work before. I might have to take me a while to fine tune it. It's not working now, and I don't want to spend all day tuning it, but I got this to work just off my signal generator. You're going to have to take my word for it, because I don't lie on this channel. I don't fake anything. I'm 100% legit. I work 45 to 50 hours a week. This technology is a passion of mine to research. I do all that work, as well as running my small farm, and a multitude of other things, so I don't have time for bullshit. Let me see if I can get that to work. It should work. Ooh, you see that? It wants to light. And that's from the signal gen. See it dimly lighting? It just was dimly lit. I'm gonna retune. This video's already gone on long enough. Let's see if it comes on. Oh well, I'm not getting it to come on to full intensity, but it did work before. Oh, I connected it wrong. Wow, I connected it as if I was connecting it to the transistor circuit. Okay, now it should work. See what I mean? I'm tired and I made the connection wrong. This should work now. So I'll start cranking this till we hit the right frequency. you can tell when that is because this fluorescent tube should light, and it's hard to film and tune it at the same time. So I'll keep this close and try and tune it. Okay. Seems to have hit the frequency correctly. So that's coming just off of my signal gen. This shows you how efficient a Tesla magnifying transmitter is when built properly. And this signal gen uses less than 3 or 4 watts of power. Let's see if this can ignite now. This should ignite somehow, a little bit. Maybe? It did last time. Doesn't want to. I don't know why that is. The only thing I had different last time was I had this ground plugged in. So I'll try that. The only thing I had different is this ground was connected. So I had this ground connected. So that ground was connected to here. And then it lit. And I also didn't have the light, I just had it going just like that. So now that we have a better grounding, it might light. No, I still can't get it. Oh well. You're just gonna have to take my word for it that it works under the right conditions. Just to prove that it's like stupidly efficient. But I'll connect this back up normally. Just gonna double check my connections. I don't need anything blowing up. Looks good. Put everything back on. Everything is lit. Look at this, it gets brighter. It gets brighter when I add this light. How nuts is that? Because it got brighter because of the better grounding. It's not nuts. Everything is reignited. I'll move this pickup coil back in range. And just like that, the magic happens. Another long explanation video. This was my math I used to get everything working. And forgive how messy my room is. I've been working like mad lately. Literally come home, mess with this a little bit, pass out, go back to work, and repeat. So, you got your transistor equation. You do your input voltage minus your emitter voltage. Gives you your operating voltage. Then I usually divide by 1/10 of the current the transistor needs, or 1/15, to get it to switch on properly without blowing it. And your value resistor, whatever it is, I usually do 25% less of the final value resistor. So I'm sure that the transistor is switching on efficiently and not overheating. And yeah, I've got plans to beef that thing up much better. I already ordered the parts. I'm just waiting for them to come in. I've been stocking up on a lot of parts over here. My desk was clean a few days ago. Not really that bad, I just gotta organize a few things. And these are the jumbo LEDs that we're lighting. They are 20 milliamps at 10 millimeter. And they're definitely lit to they're definitely over their normal level of brightness. And now I will turn all power back on to my house because everything was off except for my room. You'll all see that. So I'll start turning all the power back on. And the lights are coming back on. So everything's coming back on. Okay, I think we're good. Power's coming back onto the house now. And yeah, in this video I prove that we have true longitudinal style of energy transferred through the ground. I'm not getting any form of induction through the power lines because I had all power shut off to my house at the breaker box. And all the people who said Tesla's technology would have never worked were wrong, because Tesla wasn't sending waveforms through the earth. He was sending pulsed DC shock waves that are non-Hertzian in nature, that are voltage driven. So it's a new form of energy. All those idiots saying that it wouldn't have worked are completely wrong and didn't do their homework. He's sending a different form of power through the earth. Kind of like when you tug a rope, the other end feels it instantly. You flick a rope, it creates a waveform, which would be an AC waveform, and that has a finite propagation time, which would be the speed of light. And the speed of light is relative to the medium it's traveling through. So, yeah, his system works. I confirmed it. Other people can replicate it. Much more details coming soon. I just like a few days off, you know, but upgrades are coming, more details are coming. The way the system is now, you can extract unlimited power from the ground. So it's very impressive. And this video's gone on long, but I figured I'd make a long video as an explanation. And again, it's Theory of Wireless Power by Eric Dollard, PDF. And more to come, and good day, everybody.